that, like, I remember this one time I left a towel outside on the washing line.
Yeah.
She came with a belt. She beat me.
Wow.
And after that, she was like, how can you leave a towel outside? And I was like, it was for that. So, sure, that made me hate her. Like, now I was thinking of ways to even kill her. Yeah. Like, every time she would beat me, I'm like, one day, I'm coming for you.
How did you get to write that letter? It feels like there's been a long journey since it happened.
Yeah.
You were 16. Didn't have to give us your age now, but you've had to live with this reality that you were raped by this man for your own selfish pleasure. But the misery that followed was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can write such a letter shows a certain level of you walking down the road of healing.
Yeah.
How was that?
Sure, that was long and hard. Yeah, that was long and hard. Yeah, I think for the longest time it was hard because I didn't know God in His word. And as a result, I could not trace His hands. I could not spot His works. And then I think with the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, I just decided to read my Bible. And I got to know God. As a result, I got to see that He's been working. But I also got to know me.
Yeah.
That is why I say in the letter, I'm no better than my rapist, because had I died without Christ, I would have ended up where they will end if they don't receive Christ.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah, so it's been a long journey of knowing that even I, having not raped anyone, my escape from hell is Christ alone. I do not have goodness or holiness enough to reach heaven on my own merits.
Yeah.
And having to learn that, but then also looking at what has happened and seeing what God has worked in my life through it. So learning that there are two parts to suffering. There's justice of God, perfect justice of God that will be released to the people who bring suffering in other people's lives.
Yeah.
But there's also the work God does through suffering. So,
wow.
If you don't get to know God, you don't get to trace that.
Understand,
yeah, you don't get to understand His purpose for your suffering.
Yeah.
You know, and I did describe in the book that being a virgin made me have a big head, and losing that gave me Christ-likeness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Made me see people for who they are beyond their mistakes and
beyond what they think of themselves and beyond what other people perceive of themselves.
Yes.
Yeah. But it
So-
took a lot of heartbreak.
Sure.
Took suffering.
Sure. A lot of it. A lot of it. Letting... I think just also accepting that God is sovereign. He could have stood on the way of that, but He didn't. But at the same time, to know that He loves you. Like, so many questions. And also, while you have those many questions, you have the reality of pain. Experientially, you have this pain. You don't know what to use to heal for your next relationship. You still desire to be with a man, but your perception of men is tainted. You know, yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot.
the morning after your pastors came, or was it still that same evening? Yeah, they came that same evening.
Yes.
Pastor Mamfundisi and the pastor came, and you went to hospital, and thankfully you were not HIV positive. You slept over, and then that day a particular family member came. Tell us about that.
Yes. So that's my aunt.
Yeah.
My aunt came. My aunt is one of the people who were helping me.
Yeah.
But we were not close.
Mostly just financially.
Yes, financially.
Just sending money.
Yeah, just sending money. So we didn't have a relationship, but I knew that every now and then I'll have to call her and thank her. She bought me shoes. May would tell me, you have to thank her. And I'll call, okay, auntie, thank you so much for this. But we did not have a relationship. So, yeah, she walked in the bedroom, May's bedroom, that our bedroom.
You write so well about that bedroom in the book. Oh.
Yeah. She walked in there and I burst into tears. I'm like, yeah, because she comes from far. She's here now, so quick. And yeah, but also she's walking in the room believing that happened to me. You know?
Yeah.
That
You
is...
have to explain yourself.
No, they just told her and she just came upon hearing that. And when she walked in, she knew it happened. She didn't...
How did they get her number? Because I think they took your phone that day.
Yeah, they got her number from my phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they got my number. The guys didn't take the phone.
Oh, the guys didn't take the phone.
They didn't take the phone.
Okay, so you still had it.
Yeah, I still had it. So so she walked in and she just hugged me and she was crying. And yeah, that confirmed for me that she does love me in her own way.
In this family, in the you know how you grew up, you always had to fight.
Yeah.
To be seen and to be loved.
Yeah.
And it takes this devastating moment for your aunt to come in and actually show you love without you having to fight.
Yeah.
Fight for it.
Yeah.
Must have been something.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, she just hugged me and she cried. I'm like, oh, you do love me. Yeah. So, yeah, that was a special moment. Yeah.
If I was a cry, I would have cried in the specific section of the book, but you're a top student. You're obviously that Friday won awards. What was it?
Business studies,
accounting. Hey, clever people. Eh? So you'd won these awards, but my heart sank when I read when your aunt Georgo went to the school and you were sitting in the car.
Yeah.
Tell us about that moment.
Oh, yeah. So they were now going to tell my school that I'll be leaving the school. And yeah, they need certain documents. So they register me in the next school. And my class teacher then, Tate Khanye, he walks to the car. Like he was the best teacher. Yeah, he was the best teacher. So he walks to the car and he just does this, just puts his arm on the car and he cries. And I'm looking at him through the window and I cry. And yeah, the principal came. So the principal asked that I come out of the car, that she gives me a hug. And Tate Khanye gave me a hug and he said to me, I'll never forget you. Yeah.
Sure.
That was heartbreaking. Like that my life was changing.
So drastically.
So drastically.
But also in your story, there's a lot of trauma and hurt, pain. But there's also these small glimpses of love. You know?
Yeah.
The fact that your school teacher would be crying and feel that much pain to say that he will never forget you is special.
It is.
So that day you get into a car on your way to Joburg.
Yeah, we we went to the police station first. We came to the school. We went to Joburg.
The police station, you struggled to tell the story.
Yeah. It was because it just happened like yesterday, and now I had to write a statement, and it was hard, but I was carried by people believing me. You don't know how important that is.
It is, yeah.
Sure. Like, even the police officer who was asking me questions, he just believed, he took me on my word that I'm telling the truth. It was just devastating, because now I was thinking, no. Also because I've always stood up for myself, and having been defeated like that, and like they took my voice. I didn't have opinion over my own body. That was hard. That was very difficult. So yeah, I told the story. I cried. I was crying for the first time.
Ever since it happened.
And yeah.
Then you find yourself in Johannesburg. You didn't take some of your pills, and but tell us about the relationship you had with your aunt.
So my aunt was the richest in the family. Yeah, everybody revered her. So
she was the most powerful.
She's the most powerful.
Because she had the most money.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So we, like, I was not genuine around her. I just wanted to be on her right side, in her right books. So we just,
because you knew if you're not in the right books with your aunt, you lose everything you have.
Yes, that was just it.
Yeah.
So I was not myself. Yeah, just to make sure that I don't do anything that will put her off. And that was the relationship we had. I didn't share anything personal. She didn't know where I am, how am I doing emotionally. Well, she never asked. I never thought of ever sharing with her, but I was struggling. I couldn't sleep for so many months,
And health-wise as well.
Very bad. Like, I look at my pictures then, I even had like very visible black shade around my eye. It was horrible. I was not eating well. I was just in a bad state. Yeah. And she didn't know. Yeah.
I think the second incident you speak of is the church incident, where you felt there was a clash between what she believed and what you believed. And even though, like, Ubutata Zela, sort of trying to do everything that makes her happy, when it came to this specific part, you actually got to your wit's end and you actually told her what you really believed. That was bold. But what was happening to your head?
I think believing in God is the reason why I could walk forward after being raped from that forest.
Yeah.
Believing in God was the only thing that was keeping me sane. I was not going to lose that. I was not going to lose that. Sure. So that was what was on stake.
Yeah.
And I knew that, I see the household, the food, the medication.
It's much better than what you were getting at Kwaikwa, for an example.
Yes.
Now you're here, you've got all this luxury.
I've got all these things, but my pain runs way deeper than this thing you're trying to take away from me is the only thing that makes sense in life right now. and she didn't understand because she was providing these other things. And also because she really believed that her church is where my hope is. She really believed. And reflecting now, because I felt she really hated me then, but I realized she didn't. She just truly and deeply believed in something different, that even as I grow now, theologically, I can tell it was not true, but she really held on and she was faithful to it. So, the fight was there. So I tried going to the church, and I got there. I'm like, in the position of life that I'm in, I want to walk in church and hear Christ.
Yeah.
And be told of Jesus, be told of God. If I come in a church and I'm told of anything else, I'm not in a good position to persevere this kind of environment. So I told him, like, no, it won't work for me. Yeah. At first, she agreed. Yeah, she agreed at first, and she was like, okay.
And you're very young, so you probably said it in a very, like you just don't care. You just sort of just gave it to her, and then she agreed.
Yeah, and then she agreed at first. Like, okay, cool. Find your own church. Yeah, so when I left Kwakwa, my pastor had promised to hook me up with other people. He did, but the church was far. And my aunt was like, okay, no, you can find your own church, but I won't fund the traveling to and fro. Excuse me. So I don't have money. It's like, okay, you know what? But it's school.
Hey,
the fire at school.
You were planning the things there. It was just.
I'm like, no. If I don't
when
go,
I was reading the book, was it Monday to Friday?
Monday to Friday.
No.
Every day we're at school. We are in it.
During break time?
Yeah, during break time. Sure, we ate after school.
I mean, they even gave you a nickname.
Like, go for this. I was in it. So I was like, no, it's just Sunday. No, man, I can just continue.
It's fine. You had your church during school. This is high school students having church. And it's run by high school students for high school students. And you were the it girl again. Like,
I came in. I was like, and I was raped in April. May, I moved. I think May I found a school and I was there. And June, July, I was the Mamfundes.
Come on.
I was just in it.
Wow.
So, and that changed. So she agreed. It's like, okay, you can go. And you can go to a different church that you like. I couldn't. And then, but I got worse.
Yeah.
Right? Health-wise, I got worse. I was having panic attacks. It was visible that I'm not doing well now.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? And she was like, the first one was I was not taking your meds. my medication, and I had like STD, like it was bad, and to a point that I couldn't hide it. I had to share with her, and she was like, you're hiding too much. You're going through too much. I'm taking you to my church. Yeah, I'm taking you to my church. And it was truly out of real concern for me.
Yeah.
I was not doing well. So I agreed, Nami, at first, but I went there and was like, okay, this is making me worse. No. She was like, but I asked you to find your own church, right? So to her, rather to what they are taught in their church, there must be a way in which you can track how God is healing you. And me now is just on, I just want to know God. We'll see how he decides to heal me. I just want to know God. And my aunt is like, yeah, but this way is not working because you're not healing. I'm like, I don't care about healing. I want to know God.
Yeah.
So she's like, no, you have to heal. And my church can give you that.
Wow.
So I go to the church and I'm like, I'm not finding that. She decides to buy me the uniform of the church.
Yeah, Because now she also got a higher position
Yeah.
in the church.
Yeah.
And so now she must look like in the family, everybody,
She's influential.
It's a perfect family, you know? And so you get this uniform.
I get the uniform like...
And then because you were young, you just, what did you do? Just
I was
put
like,
it
I
on the
don't
floor or
want it.
something?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't want this thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wear this thing.
Yeah.
Shoo. That was a sharp
trigger.
And she was like, because I was ungrateful. Also, she's doing this for me. Like, you must heal. And yeah, no, she didn't take it well. And yeah, that's how the abuse started after that.
Wow.
Yo, what it do? Would love for you to please support us and be a partner with us on Patreon, where you'll help us be able to create more and more of this material. I want to say thank you to all the people who have been supporting and who will continue to support the work that we are doing. We cannot do this without you. Thank you for supporting. If you'd love to, please make sure that you click on the link below and support us on Patreon.
And then because now you found this anchor in God, which many people wouldn't.
Sure.
Many people would have ran away from God, and you found yourself with a passion for God. But now you found yourself with this aunt who, out of her expression of love, was providing all the financial and physical things that you needed.
Yeah.
But it was clashing with what you really wanted, which was a deeper understanding and knowing of God.
Yeah.
Things got worse.
Yeah.
What happened?
So now she was like, she was trying to punish me, you know. She was trying to force me to come to a church. Yeah, I think having reached another rank in the church, she was supposed to have everyone in the family going to the same church, right? So that was kind of a bad image on her as well at church. Yeah, but also I was ungrateful for not wanting to come to a church after everything she's done for me. So she was like, okay, from now on, you clean the whole house before you go to school every day. You come back, you cook, you clean. Yeah, every now and then she will beat me up for small things.
Yeah.
She was now like intentionally trying to punish me for not being part of a church.
Yeah.
And that made me very bitter. That made me, because for me it was a 10 on her side, a 10 of character. She was loving, but now she comes back and she's so evil just because we don't agree on something.
Yeah.
Right? But also I was young. I was like, I'm not gonna compromise. Though I'm staying under her roof, this is one thing I'm not willing to compromise on.
Have you always been strong-willed?
I've always been strong-willed. Whoa, I've always been strong-willed. I've always had to be, though. Yeah, I've always
had to stand up for yourself.
Yeah, I've always had to stand up for myself. So I was like,
so how stubborn are you between 1 to 10?
Oh, now I'm 4. Now I'm 4. The Lord is doing a great job.
Hey, you've decreased, my sister.
And now I'm worse. I can't believe myself. So yeah, the Lord has really worked. So now I'm much better.
So now are you not a pushover?
No. Now I'm not. Also, like, even on theological things.
Yeah.
Now I've read more books and I can like literally listen to other people who don't see things my way, and even just have a very cool conversation.
Somebody who doesn't believe what you believe.
Yeah. Have a very cool conversation. And disagree, like agree to disagree. I've never been a person who agrees to disagree.
You want to make sure that they get it.
Yes, you must get it.
You must get it.
So yeah, the Lord is working.
The Lord is working. The Lord is working. And your aunt goes on to abusing you more.
Yeah.
You are having to every morning clean the house before you go to school. And she also physically abuses you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Sure. That, like, I remember this one time I left a towel outside on the washing line. She came with a belt. She beat me. And after that, she was like, how can you leave a towel outside? And I was like, it was for that. So, sure, that made me hate her. Like, now I was now thinking of ways to even kill her.
Yeah.
Like, every time she would beat me, I'm like, one day I'm coming for you. So, sure, it was.
It's a very interesting chapter in the book, but people have to go get it.
Yeah, no, sure. It was deep. I think then I didn't know. I really did love God then. I still do. I did love God then, but I didn't know how to have God in every area of my life. You know, I wanted to serve God, but I didn't know that He wants to help me. He wants to live in my life. He wants to serve me, you know. So I was not open to that. I was not seeking that. I was seeking that I've met Jesus. He died for my sins. That was already figured out. And now I have to serve Him.
Yeah.
But that he have to live with me, be part of my life. Yeah. I didn't know that. So that part, I was not sharing it with the Lord. I didn't think God would want to guide and grace me through that period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Until I tried always to kill my aunt and it didn't work. And I was like, okay. But the Lord seems to be standing on every door I'm trying to open to kill my aunt, all opportunities I'm trying to get my hands on. So I'll just let it be and allow Him to do whatever He wants to do. And He did work through that situation.
But I think also the part of it is what you're saying is true, but also part of it is you've experienced rape, you know, losing, doubting even yourself and your self-worth. And then now you get taken in by your aunt who shows you some form of affection and love, but soon it turns out to actually not be that. And actually saying you were not doing well. You were traumatized, you were hurt, you had so many emotions, health-wise, things were not good. And when people don't deal with things, you know, we act in ways that when we look back, we're like, hey man, I shouldn't have done that because we actually have not dealt with what is really happening with us, you know. And a lot of us, when we go through trauma, that's what happens.
Yeah.
You know, the interesting part, or one of the parts of your story, was that your mother was not around.
Yeah.
Your mother gave birth to you and took you straight to me. And you had only seen your mother in maybe funeral here and there. Eh? Explain.
Yeah.
Am I saying it right?
Well, no.
Not, yeah?
My mom left me a few days after I was born with me, and she came back on Miss funeral. Yeah, she came back on Miss funeral. Yeah, that was 15 years later.
15 years later.
Never have I seen her in any picture, in any...
She dropped you a few days after.
Yeah, and then she
left and came back 15 years later on May's funeral.
I think that was not hard in a sense that I always knew May as my mom. I knew that someone had dropped me here and she was not supposed to, and I'm not liked and I'm being hated for that. But there's someone who truly loves me. But when May died, I needed to know my mom. I needed to know her. So we met at the funeral, and my aunt that I was staying with, introduced us. She was like, Tumi, this is your mom. We looked at each other. We didn't know what to say to each other. And she's like, hi. I'm like, hi, are you okay? I'm good. Cool. I don't even know when she left. That was the only conversation, and then she left.
And now you are reunited because you got kicked out of your auntie's house.
Yes. She actually came. My mom is a very funny character. She actually came to pick me up. And like, you would fight with my mom today. She does not address things. She'll just override them and come in with a new topic, and you'd move on like that. So she came, she's like, hi, yeah, we're going to my place. Oh, cool, we're going to a place. I'm like, probably when we get there, we have to sit down for like 3 hours and unpack. Why don't we know each other? Why are you not staying together? What happened? Where were you in the 15 years? We need to talk about that. Not with my mom.
Not with your mother.
So it's like, yeah, we're going to my place. We got to this 4-roomed house. And the first thing she tells me is, I'm going to this place, to the tavern. She's an alcoholic. I'm going to the tavern. This is where you'll get me. Bring my meds. She told me she had this disease that she's drinking meds every day for. So bring my meds there. That's it. So every day she would go there. We would not even get to spend an hour together. So I'll just go for 5 minutes, look for her, give her meds, go back home, and I'll sleep alone. I lived alone. But for me then, I did not realize the psychological impact that had on me, because I was just relieved I'm out of my aunt's house. You know, but it was dealing with me on one.
It was dealing with you, yeah. Your aunt said some very hurtful things when you left. What did she say about you and your mother and how your life will be?
Yeah. She said I'll amount to nothing. I'll end up like my mom. Yeah. So she had left me for 15 years. Now she's coming to fetch me. What do I think will happen to me? Also, without her, I mean, reminding me that she's the one who helped me to take care of me. I would have been nothing without her. Now that I'm stepping out of her house, definitely she can assure me. And you know what? I must never come back there. But there's nothing else out there for me.
When you think of that now, how does it land on you?
I think she was just angry. Now I can understand. Now I can understand where she was. But also because of what she believed about life, about God, she thought the destiny of someone else can be in someone else's hands. You know, that's how far she knew. She thought because she's the one in position to give money to my well-being, then my life's destiny definitely was in her hands. That's what she believed. But I grew up and I realized that it is God who creates a person. Yeah. It is God who determines where a person will end up. So, yeah.
Wow. And your relationship with your mom, there was nothing there, but the time when you were staying at her place was short-lived. Do you laugh about it now?
I do. Sure. Yeah, I do laugh about it now. Cause I mean, I feel like she should have told me. You know, she should have told me that no, this is not my place. Hey, niggas wafika. Like, you are who again? And I'm like, how? My mom brought me here. I was like, no, I borrowed your mom this room to take care of it while I'm still away. And now I'm trying to tell her that I'm coming back. She's not picking up. And on the day the owner of the room came back, my mom disappeared. And I didn't see her for years after that. So I don't know, she could have just told me. But having the many encounters that I've had with her, I get that she's that kind of a person. Yeah.
How is your relationship with your mom now? So after that time when you didn't see her, when did you see her again?
We just met randomly at the street.
Wow.
Yeah, we just
5 years later,
Yeah.
2 years later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we just randomly met at the streets, and she just greeted me the way she would. Hi, oh, good to see you. Sharp. And then COVID hit. My mom asked for my numbers from whoever she got them from, and she contacted me. She asked for help. She's got nowhere to stay. She wants a place to stay and food and stuff. And I was working well then. And yeah, we found her a place to stay, and we got reunited. That went on for a while. Now she's got my little sister who's now attending school. So I felt very obliged to help and to be in her life. And yeah, of course, in a relationship like that, I will also be needing some things. And when it's my turn to be served, she would not pitch up.
Sure.
Yeah. And on simple things, an example would be when I asked her, so she bought a washing machine I didn't have. So I was like, please wash my clothes for me. And then she put them there for a while, and I came back. I'm like, how? So it's like, no, Mina, my machine is for business. I wash clothes with money.
Sure.
And I'm paying this person's rent. The other thing is I would give her money to pay rent. She would buy alcohol. They would have no place to stay. Now I'm be forced to pay the rent twice. So there had to be very strong boundaries that I put for our relationship to work. Also for me to win my sister's life, because I felt like everything she was doing was just pushing me away. And it was not my sister's fault. So it was very hard. It was so hard that during the lobola, so I asked her that, would you be there? She was like, yes, yeah, of course. Then when the day is closer, I call her. She's like, yeah, so remember, this is the date in. She's like, so you're telling me through the phone? I'm like, but you knew, I told you, I came to you face to face to come tell you. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do now. You know what? I want nothing to do with that anymore. I tried to put other old people to speak to her. She didn't come.
Sure.
Yeah, she didn't come. So that has been one of the thorns that I've been dealing with in life, because she would come when she needs something, and I would not be able to say no. But that's the thing, when I help her, I become emotionally invested, and I will need a very simple thing for her to do, and she will just not want to do it.
Yeah.
So it's a one-way kind of a relationship we have, which is very hard.
How are you dealing with it?
Oh, that one is very hard. Every now and then I have a lot of forgiveness to do, forgiveness issues. I would go through counseling, and then we'll come back together. I would pursue, and also when you see us being in a good space, it's because I initiated it, and she never initiates. She just comes when she needs something.
Yeah.
Literally, the whole time we've known each other is because she wants something. So it's a very emotionally demanding thing on me. Even now. I mean, now I'm still dealing with the fact that she didn't come to the lobola, and
which is such a special thing. And she just needed to be there. That's it. That's all. And she failed to do just that. At some point, she was telling me I must buy her clothes for her to look nice, and I couldn't because I had everything else on me. You know. Yeah, my relationship with my mother is one of the hardest things I'm dealing with now. Has it been easy to put boundaries?
It has not been easy. She doesn't understand boundaries. When there are boundaries in place, she reminds me that she gave birth to me. She could have decided to abort. So for that, I owe her. And it's been very hard for me to understand that I don't. It's been very hard for me to understand that I don't. But also because Nami, I have a very deep sense of deep longing to belong.
Yeah.
And I think that's why.
To be accepted.
Yeah, to be accepted. That's what I've been trying to gain with her, and but that's one thing I've not been getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last week, me and Unsigi went to a seminar. It's called Father and Mother Wounds, and we were the youngest. We were the youngest people there, and listening to men, women speak about. I went through a process of speaking about our mother and father wounds, and I just realized that we all are battling in some way or another.
Sure.
And some of the scenarios are not as intense as yours, but we all are battling through that.
Yeah.
Speak to me. Maybe, I don't know my mother, or my mother don't have the best of relationships. What would you say to somebody like that?
Sure. I think I would say that that's not a relationship you've put yourself in. Number one, just understanding that it is the Lord who does this matchup of a child and a mother, and it is for a reason known to Him. I think try to focus on what the Lord is trying to shape in you throughout this.
Yeah.
But don't prioritize or plan or work on changing your mom.
Yeah.
That will cost you because it's not going to happen. They have to decide. It's in there. The ball is in their court. So no, stop trying to make your mom accept you if she doesn't. Stop trying to be there. Of course, work with the Lord on your boundaries, because even that you can end up being just a selfish person yourself so try to work with the Lord's help through boundaries, but boundaries you must have, because it can be very bad. Yeah.
Even if it's difficult.
Yeah.
Well, friend, thank you so much. You wrote a heartbreaking book, but you did it so well. The writing was incredible. I was captivated from the first page right up until the last page. I got home, I gave it to Nzig, and I said, you have to read it. And she was like busy reading it the one night. And she I saw her turning, and she was just crying. And crying. And then I laughed at her.
Yeah.
And then, we laugh at each other. And so I was laughing at her. And she finished it that same day. Sure. And she was broken. But the book also offers us a hope. In our pain, in our misery, in our suffering, it also gives us a certain level of hope. How you are still persevering to still trust in the Lord, even in the midst of what you have gone through, and you are still processing and still going through. I hope that people buy this book. Must make sure I'll put a link down. I know now there's a website. I'll put down all your details so that people can be in touch with you. And we want to help and see how best we can get this book out to as many people. But mostly, well done for writing it and finishing it and publishing it.
Sure.
Yeah? Many people have stories, but they never publish. Well done. Congrats.
You.
Bam. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Intentional Conversations podcast. I'll put down all the details of where you can buy the book, get the book. I'll put down Boitumelo's details so that you can get in touch with her to get into this book. Make sure you subscribe, follow her, and we'll put down all the social media platforms. But most importantly, let's buy books written by our people. Let's buy books written by Black women as well. See you soon. Blessings and love. Aye, 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 aye.